What's going on, everybody? Here's my first vlog, and what I want to talk about today is Dwight Howard. And Dwight Howard, before I say anything, I want to say talent-wise, is one of the most talented players in the NBA. He's almost 7 foot. He's got a crazy body for his size. He's got a tremendous vertical. He's one of the best centers in the NBA. And he almost carried the Orlando Magic to a NBA Finals a couple years ago. Only thing that stopped him was LeBron. But lately, Dwight Howard, he's just really gone downhill. First, it was his personality, and if you look at the Lakers at the end of the season, it started to turn into his play. It all started back in Orlando. He said his back got hurt. He needed surgery. There's even some people that questioned if he had it. I'm not going to question that at all. But a lot of people say he didn't even really need surgery. He just quit. All right, well, if someone tells me a superstar like that just quits, I don't believe it. But it almost seemed like he quit on the Lakers at the end of the season, too. The thing happened with Stan Van Gundy where he pretty much got him fired. And he started to turn into a baby. It's the only way to put it. He started turning into a baby. He wanted to be spoiled. He wanted to get his way. And now things didn't really work out in LA either. He was the go-to man in Orlando. He was the one they ran the offense through. He got all the credit. And now he goes to LA with Kobe. And he's complaining he's not getting enough shots. Well, when you were Orlando and you got all the shots, you weren't happy about it. You weren't happy about your coach. And when he was with Los Angeles, he called his old teammates in Orlando a bunch of players that nobody else wanted. Like, what? Like, who rips on their teammates like that? Especially when, what was he doing where he could go and bash his old teammates? Because he wasn't really doing much for Los Angeles. And all he talked about was, oh, my back hurts. Just always complaining, I'm not getting enough touches. And it's just, if you're trying to be a leader, he wanted to create his own legacy. That's why he wanted to go to Brooklyn, so he could create his own legacy. Well, he ends up going to LA, who's had some of the greatest players ever. So you're not going to create your own legacy there. You can create a legacy, but you're not going to be the first one to do anything in Los Angeles. But I don't get why that was a big deal to him anyways. Because he could have gone to LA, won multiple championships, and he'd always be remembered. Everyone would forget the Orlando thing. But at the end of the year, he just complained and complained and complained. And if you're supposed to be a leader, you're not going to complain. Haslam just got done playing the whole regular season and the whole playoffs, and he had a torn ligament in his knee. I believe it was his MCL. It might have been his meniscus. I don't really know. Did you hear about it once? You didn't. J.R. Smith had a really banged up knee in the playoffs. Did you hear about it? No, you didn't. They played through it, and they kept their mouths shut. Dwight Howard just wants to complain about everything. And now that Dwight Howard's a free agent, the thing that bothers me most is the Houston Rockets. In an article I read and on ESPN, I heard that the Rockets said he has leeway about who he wants around him as coaches and management. That makes no sense to me. So you already got a guy that's spoiled and a guy that's a huge baby and a whiner, and you're giving him what he wants. Well, as soon as something doesn't work out in Houston, he's going to complain about it. He's going to want Kevin McHale fired or something like that. Houston just went out and hired Orlando Magic's old strength and conditioning coach. And the reason why they did it was to try and get Dwight Howard, because I guess him and Dwight Howard are good friends. But I just don't get why these teams are going after a player whose personality is awful. He's not a leader at all. And his play is diminished with it. That just really bothers me that these teams are going after a player like him and promising him all this stuff. Like, what has he shown you lately that he's going to come in and help your team win a championship? Because it's not just all about talent that wins championships. You got to have good chemistry too. And that's all there is to it. If he goes in and he starts complaining that James Harden's shooting too much, they're not going to win anything. And they're pretty much tearing the team apart to try and please Dwight Howard. They're already trying to trade players for Josh Smith because Dwight Howard wants Josh Smith. So what happens if Dwight Howard doesn't sign there? You already have players that are upset because you were trying to trade them. They're trying to trade Jeremy Lin and a sick so they can get Dwight Howard and Josh Smith. Well, if that doesn't happen, how do you feel if you're them? They were trying to trade you for a player they didn't get. That really makes no sense to me. The Warriors are trying to trade Klay Thompson and Andrew Bogut. All right, I can see the Warriors trying to make some moves, but why are you trying to trade Klay Thompson? He has a great work ethic. He's got a great personality. Him and Steph Curry, they shoot lights out together. They could go and sign someone like Al Jefferson, and I think they'd be a real good team. I mean, they gave the Spurs everything they wanted. So what happens if they beat the Spurs? Are they in the NBA Finals? But yet they want to take guys off their team for Dwight Howard. Well, what happens when Dwight Howard's not happy because Steph Curry's taking too many threes? Or he doesn't like the coach, Mark Jackson, because he's too hard on him. It just really bothers me that Dwight Howard has kind of lost himself over the years. He's lost his personality, and now it's affecting his play. I mean, mouthing off to fans after you get ejected, I mean, that's just stupid. Like, that's not a leader. And if he's trying to create his own legacy and if he wants to win a championship, you got to be a leader. And honestly, I think Dwight Howard, he can hopefully put all this behind him and be the best center in the NBA and lead a team to a championship. I fully believe he can still do that. But right now he's turned into a baby and he wants it his way. And these teams are doing that for him. They're giving everything in their power for him. They're doing everything for him, whatever he wants. And that just makes no sense to me. If you want a player to give everything he has and to become a true leader and to become an NBA champion, he's got to have discipline. He's got to have leadership. But giving him what he wants, that's not going to do it. He's just going to become more spoiled. He's just going to become more of a whiner. And this whole Dwight Howard business stuff, it just really bothers me. I mean, man. I just don't get it. If I'm an NBA team and I feel I need Dwight Howard to win an NBA championship, that's fine. I understand that. I mean, he's one of the best centers in the NBA. Of course, every team is going to feel like they need him to win a championship. But to absolutely baby him after everything he's done the last year and a half, I mean, tell me how many times you've heard of a player that an organization does everything they can to baby him and it works out. Cleveland fired Mike Brown. LeBron left. Now Mike Brown's back. The Lakers babied Kobe. A lot of people think that's the reason Phil Jackson left. Look what's happened since. All these coaches have left. Now we get Dwight Howard. He can't really seem to get along with everybody. Anybody. Not everybody, anybody. So it just really bothers me that these teams are babying to him. If I was trying to sign Dwight Howard, I'd be like, look, you got to fit in our system. You got to do things our way, and you got to work hard, and you'll be the best center in the NBA. But, man, I don't know. Teams are babying him. He's just going to be more of a whiner when something doesn't work out. I don't get it. He's spoiled, and teams are trying to spoil him even more. But you know what? I hope he signs somewhere, and I hope he turns it around and becomes the old dominant center he was. And I think he's going to sign in Houston, and I hope it really works out for him. But I guess we'll have to see. He needs to cut it out. He needs to stop being a baby. He just needs to man up and play. He doesn't need to please everybody. I don't get why he's so concerned about what everyone thinks or how people don't understand his back. Who cares? People are always going to hate on you. Look at LeBron. People are always going to hate on him. LeBron could go out, score 100 points, grab 50 rebounds, and dish out 70 assists, and he could have swept the Spurs, and people would still hate on him and say he doesn't have a jump shot or his jump shot's not good enough. He needs to not worry about that. He just needs to go out, play ball, keep his mouth shut, and just dominate. And nobody can say anything then. When you're winning and you're putting up stats, no one can say anything. But, I don't know. He needs to turn around, man. I hope he does. So I guess this is my rant about Dwight Howard. I wouldn't say, I'm not trying to rip on him by any means. I'm just saying he needs to turn it around. It really bothers me that teams are trying to spoil him. I don't get it. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Peace.